Hello and welcome to Corero, the big conversation. My name is Godwin Sunday. I'll start by saying Happy International Youth Day to every youth out there. Of course, today's edition is dedicated to all youth across the world. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll dive into the conversations that I've lined up for tonight. Please stay with us. And you're welcome back. Now, the theme for this year's International Youth Day, different context, common aspiration. Now, to give you background to this theme, it's established by the United Nations for International Youth Day 2026 to address how youth experiences varying across geographical, economic, and social environments, while emphasizing the shared goals that connect young people worldwide. Now, young people live in vastly different realities shaped by structural, environmental, and economic conditions. Despite stark differences in location and resources, youth across the globe share foundational goals for their future. Now, what is that goal that they share for their future? And how do we tie this goal back to Nigeria? Tonight, I'm joined by two young people for this conversation. I'm joined by Victor Adetolaju, Chairman, Student Chambers of Commerce, and Susan Ogechuku, Publicity Director of the Redemption Youth for Good Governance, TRIGOG, and they'll be helping us put some of these issues in perspective tonight. It's a delight to have you, gentleman and a lady, join me on Corero. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here.
Good evening, Happy International Youth Day. Thanks for having me.
Well, forgive me for not saying Happy International Youth Day to both of you, but I take that back. Happy International Youth Day.
Happy International Day.
Okay, so let's even begin with you, Victor. The theme speaks of different contexts, but common aspiration. What is the aspiration? Connecting the Nigerian students in Abuja, the unemployed graduates in Kano, the young entrepreneur in Lagos, and the young farmer in Benue. What is the connectivity?
Thank you so much for that question and that perspective. And I was about to say something, and you actually went deep into the graphical representation of the context, because context actually matters, right? And many people want to override that context, that some people are currently still living the realities that some others have actually bypassed, and then that really matters a lot. And but we are living in a time right now that time is being compressed, right? You hear something like the world is a global village, right? And that means information circulates very, very fast. So, and that has given a kind of sense of of equality to everyone, but it's the reality of the context still matters. Okay, so like what you mentioned now, the reality in Kano is different from in fact, when you talk about the students in Abuja, the reality, when you say students in Abuja now, there is a context of students in private university. There's a context of students in public institutions, and they are very, very different, right? But you will discover that these students in public school, these students in private university, they want to graduate, for example, they want to contribute to the society, right? But their context is still going to shape the way those aspirations come to pass, right?
So invariably there is no common ground.
Of course, there's definitely no common ground.
So Nigeria is far from reality when it has to do with
not even Nigeria as a whole. I mean, everywhere. If there's
because we're bringing it from the Nigerian context.
Yes, there's a lot of fragmented realities. That's what I'm saying. That is something that we cannot just sidestep and just begin to enter into globalization, or begin to think that okay, let me give you a very practical example. We are promoting a sport in Nigeria currently, the international drone soccer, right? It was invented in South Korea, and it's something that is making young people alive across the world right now, Jamaica, Morocco.
So outside sports, we don't have a common ground.
No. I'm
because
giving, I want to give you a scenario.
I need to come to Susan.
Yes,
quickly.
I want to give you a
Please
scenario
let me allow
shortly.
you.
I want to
Please,
give you a
please
scenario
do
shortly.
that.
So, because what we do in the Student Chamber of Commerce is to connect students, bring stimulate.
We will come back to this.
I want to give you a scenario.
Permit me to talk to Susan.
Okay,
please. Permit
okay,
me to talk
okay,
to Susan.
thank you.
Susan,
Yes, sir.
today is International Youth Day.
Yeah, that's right.
For Nigerian youth, as it stands right now,
Yeah.
is it worth celebrating?
Well, this question is kind of deep. But then I'll first talk about good governance and how it's relating to the Youth Day today. So, good governance, it's all about four things where the youth are looking up to. One is on transparency, accountability, opportunity, and involvement. So, if the youth are being given the privilege or opportunity to see on how to sit on the table with the leaders of today, it's going to actually be more of positive impact to youth of the society than today. So talking about if it's kind of maybe a good impact.
If it's worth celebrating at all?
Well, to my end, I would say no, because lots of activities and negative vices are being trampled upon in the society, whereby we have people that have indulged themselves into negativity in terms of unemployment as a reason, and lack of care. Poverty has also brought in so many harm than good in today's society, whereby they get to indulge into kidnapping, and we have what we call Yahoo now. It's rampant. So it's not worth celebrating because youth are not happy. Individuals are not happy currently. They are going out crying and trying to pour their air out on how to be on the table. Let them be given their space for mentorship. Let them be involved into political parties and giving that room, because so many people have skills, right? And one of it is that they actually don't know who to groom them into becoming what they want to be, and most of them don't have the privilege of being how should I put it, you are being applauded for what you bring into the country by your skills, and you're not awarded. So one of those has made them to relax, to feel relentless on what to see and how to further in moving the...
So in other words, Nigerian youth should not bother celebrating International Youth Day.
Oh yeah, because they are not happy.
Could this be the reason, let me come to Victor, could this be the reason why the number of celebrations that we had last year, even in the Federal Capital Territory, dwindled? Last year we had more celebration. This year we're having limited celebration. A lot of youth don't even want to talk about the International Youth Day. Are the youth angry?
Yes, so like I said, there are different dimensions and context to it, and
So
that's why
the youth are not angry.
That's why we are looking at the collective aspirations. What does the youth want? Like she mentioned, you understand. What are the things that can be verbalized, you know, as a corporate aspiration in governance? What quota system? The youth of this country. So when you're talking about the youth, there are a lot of people that have been youth. Even all the leaders of today, like you alluded, there are people that they were one-time youth. Like I remember, you know, some of the senators have been in government since when they were 28 years old. They were the youth of that time, right? And of course, there are many things that needs to still be done. And like the Not Too Young to Run bill that has been passed, it's even being pushed right now. So at that level of governance, there are a lot of things that are being done. Now today in Nigeria, we have the youngest minister of youth that is even not yet married, is in his 30s. You understand? So along that line, the aspirations or collective aspiration of youth representing the youth is being achieved, but it's not total. You understand what I'm saying? So that means there can be a generational overlap. There's going to be an overlapping of this responsibility as youth prepare themselves to be able to come into this position.
All right, Susan, the United Nations have come out with a theme.
Yeah.
Context, but different contexts, but common aspirations as a theme for the International Youth Day celebration.
Yeah.
But looking at this theme and trying to tie it back to Nigeria, can we say it is not working in Nigeria, or it's a misplaced priority, or a team got in and operated that can work perfectly outside the shores of Nigeria, but not in Nigeria?
Okay, well, thank you for that. First of all, I would say it's a good idea, United Nations trying to bring in that into the system of adhering to youth. So one of it is that for now, many people are having the challenge of, okay, opportunities. Yeah, they're having the challenge of how can we bring this to the table? How can we do this? Who are those people that can actually help us to be what we want to be or attain a certain level in life? So I would really say if there are platforms that the government can actually help and giving them that room to, okay, go and see how you can learn from this and learn from that and bring it to the system, it would actually be of good use and help to youth of.
Well, interesting. Let me come back to you, Victor. Now, you've talked about the fact that we have one of the youngest Minister of Youth in Nigeria as it stands today in our nascent democracy. A lot of Nigerians will tell you that although we have the youngest minister, in the context of this International Youth Day, looking at the theme, a different context but common aspiration, there is a lacuna, a big gap between where the minister stands and where the Nigerian youth are standing right now. A big connect. A lot of Nigerian youth will tell you today, I haven't gone to the field to do a survey, they'll say they're not feeling the impact of the Ministry of Youth. But help us even understand, because you are privileged to be within that circle as the Chamber of Commerce and Chamber of Students and stuff. So help us even understand all of this narrative. Is the Minister of Youth Development disconnected from the Nigerian youth?
Okay, so I think we need to define that demography well, right? According to United Nations, the age of youth actually starts from about 15 to 25. Really, right? So
no, 15 is still a teenager.
Is that?
So we target from 18 up, 19 and above.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I said. Now let's talk about context. I think in this topic now, the biggest thing is the context. Are you getting what I'm saying? And in the context of Nigeria as a case study, that means Nigeria definition of youth is actually dwindling between that 18 and 30, 35. There's some argument.
So is there disconnect? Let's stick to the. So because
that's what I'm saying.
So let's get to that disconnect. Now, is there disconnect?
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, please.
That when you are looking at the youth, they are categorized. So the Ministry of Youth sits at the center of initiatives that has to do with youth, right? And over the last few years, what we have seen is putting structure where the structure needs to be. Now, do you know the NAS, National Association of Nigerians today, is under that purview. The Nigerian Youth Council of Nigeria is under that purview. So if you want to actually, because they are also state actors, they are commissioners of youth and things like that. But in the federal, they are looking at things that has to give it national direction, like the national youth policy.
Well, when you say when the youth say disconnect, I think
yes.
Victor, I think you're taking it out of context. When youth say they are disconnected from the Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Youth is disconnected. We've seen previous Minister of Youth that stay in their offices for 4 years.
Yes.
Without going to the grassroots.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, they don't go to the grassroots.
Exactly.
And right now, a lot of youth are saying that they are being disconnected again from the top. You're saying that the whole Ministry of State, Ministry of Youth should be...
Context, yeah, of course. The context now is that...
Because a lot of young people are watching this show right now, and they want to get the full,
we have actually
your full position.
Do you know
as a chairman?
Let me give you a back view, because we do a lot of research in our organization. The back view is that the independence of this country was gotten by young people.
At present, are they connected?
That's what I'm saying. That
is a yes or no. Are they connected?
They are connected.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me bring it back to you.
All right.
You are a young person.
Yeah.
And these are all speculations.
Yeah.
That young people are far. The government is far from the young people. Young people are not even feeling the impact of the government, from the 6 geopolitical zone through to the 36 states, 74 local government, and all of this. You are a young person, and you happen to champion you're the publicity director of the Redemption Youth for Good Governance. when you do your research, how correct is this assertion?
Okay, from that, from the redemption of youth governance, because currently we try to see how to combat youth into going into election and policies as well, because we can have rules and regulation guarding, for example, elections, and it can be pushed aside based on maybe trying to get it from your own interest. So from that, we try to see how to bring those people together, tell them, this is what you can do, this is how you can impact yourself, this is how you can impact the society. If we can have one youth that is being brought in, and okay, this is the system is going, it can actually save.
Well, Susan, let me bring this question back home to you as a person.
Okay, all right.
And your fellow peers.
Okay.
Are you feeling the impact of the current Minister of Youth, who is a young person, personally?
From my end, well, I am not. Yeah, I would say I'm not.
And you think that a lot of people share in this opinion, or you just stating
Well,
it because
from
you've not been
my-
following through in the ministry?
No, not really that. From my own view and perspective, because lots of things are being asked to be given to the youths where they are not seeing. They are not seeing it actually. They aren't seeing those things that need to be brought in to our attention. So one of it is just to show us the way. It's not just by bringing it to us that this is it. How are we going to be with you? And okay, this is how we want it to be. Let's just go with the flow so we can all be one.
Well, this year's theme, Victor, says common aspirations. Right now, the common aspiration for a lot of Nigerian, young Nigerians, is the Jackpot syndrome, where the statistics shows that more Nigerians are willing to travel out tomorrow morning if given the opportunity.
And by any means.
All right, you are aware of these statistics. Let's go by this. Can we say that leaving the country has become the common aspiration of every Nigerian youth today, if we talk about common aspirations for the country?
Exactly. So the context matter. You know, when we emphasize context, that means all the solutions that are being provided, there's something there, there's a context they want to change, right? So the jackpot syndrome, if I have to give you statistically, the back end of this country was actually developed by the migrant. The guys in the diaspora developed this country. Many of our founding fathers went to school outside the country. Listen, now that means there was a time that migration was the main source of intellectual development for this country. So it got to a time that because that was not managed well, you understand? So when your virtues are not managed well, they become vices, right? So those virtues at that time, right? We have names like Tokumbo in this country. What does it mean? That means we are happy that you went abroad and you came back, right? But now, because that has not been well managed, let me tell you, this migration that we are talking about is called right migration, actually, and then we have to add to it to be able to call it what it is. Migration is human right. You are getting me? Even trees migrate, animals migrate. Are you getting me? India as it is today, China as it is today, is being developed by migration. They will send their children to foreign land, but it's being structured. They are supported. Indians are taking over technology in the world because their migration was well structured, and that's what we are talking about. And that's why we have set up platforms like the Student Chamber of Commerce to correct these ideologies and context.
Let's bring you back to the Student Chamber of Commerce, since you are the chairman of the organization. Well, I don't know if you're aware that the number of young people venturing into cybercrime right now is rather on the increase. Young teenagers right now that are venturing into crime. I don't take my word for it. The EFCC chairman gave a typical example of his own experience.
A very shocking data.
All of this put together are not something to write home about. Now, this has formed the basis for which we begin to have conversations in the country. And that's what I'm asking you, from your perspective, will you say, as the chairman of Chambers of Commerce, that Nigerian youths have a common aspiration for good right now?
Okay, without problems, there will be no solutions. So we are solution thinkers, we are solution providers, and it is because of these particular problems that we are creating platforms like the Student Chamber of Commerce to say, you are the solution architect of this country. This country is yours, and you must build this country. Now, for cybercrime, why? When stigmatization in Nigeria, what is the context of a wealthy youth? What's the avatar of it? If a young person drives a Benz in the Student Chamber of Commerce, our aspiration is to actually make a student a millionaire before graduating. Does that fit into the ideology that has existed? If a young student comes to you and says, I have 2 million in my account, how would you take that student? Wouldn't you have said that student is into fraud and cybercrime? Because there is no space. If a student just do a dread, that's it. A young person does a dread, he has tattoo, he's stigmatized. So there is no space. And overseas, a child of 16 is driving an SUV. Do you understand? So because we have not balanced all this context,
Victor,
we are shunning out people that are having negativity as aspirations.
Let me come to Susan. Susan, we've heard a lot when it has to do with gender discrimination.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to discriminate you as a female, but then when we look at the different contexts and also the common aspirations, does it fit into the average Nigerian female child or the girl child?
Okay.
Even as we celebrate today.
Okay, when we talk about gender discrimination, if it fits to the average Nigerian child, okay, I would say opportunities that are given to maybe male might be different from that of female. And there are some jobs that a woman or a female child will want to indulge into, we want to go into, but are not given that privilege based on, okay, because of this, there might be kind of negative circumstances that can come in. For example, maybe you might be raped or you might be bruised or this kind of a thing. So from the question you asked, I would say it has not really gotten to the average of the female youth of Nigeria.
Okay, so if it has not really gotten to the average, even in putting it in context, like Victor would say, let's put it in context. Now, if the average Nigerian lady or young lady cannot have a common aspiration when it has to do with the gender imbalance that we have in the country, should we be talking about International Youth Day in Nigeria, or we should make it an alien conversation?
Okay, we can actually put that into conversation, because being grown for something you really have passion for, it's one thing, and not having the time and then the space to go into it, it's another thing. So we should actually include it as in one of the prominent things that should be handled and settled.
Well, let's move to Victor. A lot of fundamental changes are happening in the country.
True.
And let's bring in Osun State right now, where a lot of vices are going on in Osun State, and people will say that these are perpetrated by young people.
True.
That young people are even compelled to do what they are not supposed to do. Now, that is just a case study, even from Osun State. Now, it is across the country. You see a lot of young people giving up in the country. Let's put this in context. By contextual meaning, does it imply that the Nigerian community or the Nigerian state is pushing the youth to the wall?
Okay, yeah, like I always say to the students in the Student Chamber of Commerce that we are not just going to build Nigeria of our Nigeria dream, like when you were talking about the jackpot the other time. So what we actually should be talking about is the purpose of Nigeria, and it all ties down to it. You see, the greatest treasure that a country has is not the resources that he has, is the mindset. Now, if that is wrong, when the head is wrong, the whole body is wrong.
When last did you travel across the country?
Of course, I was still a few months ago.
Well, I doubt if you've traveled across the country.
Let's 19 people.
A lot of young people are watching you.
And let's Osun State.
Let's take it away from Osun State.
Okay.
To be frank to the Nigerian young people that are watching us today, what you're saying, can you tell these to your younger brother who is at the age of 18.
I speak to young people every day.
Is confronted
Yes.
with vices.
Yes.
And is being lured into similar vices. And you're telling him that there is a common ground. And the government, literally,
Okay.
is being controlled by certain individuals
Okay.
that it doesn't have access to.
Okay.
Which the government is supposed to be the government of the people.
Okay.
Will you advise your younger brother in this light of this conversation?
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. You see, we are not nominal participants. We are active participants in whatever that is happening. So in Osun State, we have a government, right, that is there, and we have, you know, a lot of activities that are going on. Now, about 90 youth have been lost. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of terror that is going on in that place now, right? And what can the youth do? Now, it is not now that the violences have erupted that the youth can now begin to act. I'm saying that that purpose that I heard, those ideologies that should govern the purpose of a country that has not been known, and it is because we have young people that came together. That's why we have the independence in Nigeria today. That's why I'm emphasizing that the youth must take their place again.
So what is the current reality of Nigeria?
That's what I'm telling you.
You're not talking about the current reality. You're talking about the possibility of the Nigerian youth.
Thank you. Without possibility, there is no
Victor,
action.
The Nigerian youth watching you right now.
Yes.
Will ask you, what is our reality of today?
The reality is
Victor,
so
are you
messed
shying
up.
away from talking about the reality of today?
No.
Or you're being unfair to the Nigerian youth?
No. I'm telling you that if the young people of this country have the right mindset, and that does not take time to have.
That, well,
it does not take time.
Every year we churn out 500.
Now you are talking 500,000. Okay.
Graduates.
Yes. Now you are talking to data. I like that. Yes.
The unemployment rate.
Yes.
Still stands at about 40% of the Nigerian young
43%.
people, academically sound Nigerian youth.
Thank you.
And
Graduates.
You are saying these graduates cannot find formal jobs.
True.
You're saying that
the process that produced them are wrong. That's my industry. Yes, no, thank you so much.
The Nigerian youths are watching.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
You engage me everywhere.
That's why they are where they are.
The curriculum has not been changed for 40 years.
Let's come back to Susan. Yes. Since it won't look as if we're talking to Victor only and we are trying to sideline you. Of course, this is a gender-sensitive studio where we respect women a lot. That's right. Let's talk about governance. You've mentioned governance initially, talking about the fact that you're trying to get young people to participate in governance.
Yeah.
A lot of young people share a common aspiration to want to get involved in governance. But then they will tell you their common aspiration cannot be achieved because there are no financial ways to get to that destination. From your own organizational perspective, I believe you've interacted with a lot of young people because from the youth redemption movement, speak to us in the light of this. Is your organization doing anything to ensure that political parties reduce their price of funds, even for youth, just like the way most parties waive for women in order to participate, for the youth to also achieve their common aspiration? Is your organization doing anything in this regard?
Yeah. With the national president and the founder, in person of Comrade Isaac, he's trying to see, because currently lots of people are setting up their own organizations, NGOs. A lot of them are going into tech, but they don't have the means and funds to see how to move more on it. So from my organization, we are trying to see how to get across to the government to see how funds and grants can be released to assist those people that actually want to improve and do what they want to do.
So for now, your organization has failed Nigerian youth?
No, not really. We haven't.
If you're advising them to take up political roles, to get involved in governance,
because they have
and the organization is not doing anything in this regard, is the organization championing the cause or disrupting the cause?
No, we are not. We actually move around to get women empowerment and initiative as well, in order to bring them in, to say, okay, this is what you want to do. So how do we come in? By them sharing their ideas, their perspective, and whatever they will be needing. So we try to form the unit of, okay, This is how we are going to help you in achieving your aim, your dreams, your ambitions, by bringing all those initiatives into place.
So invariably you're saying,
Yeah.
if I understand you correctly, that the Redemption Youth for Good Governance
Yeah.
has not supported any youth by even pursuing a course for political parties to reduce their funds for them. Is that what you're saying, if I
No,
get you
that's no
correctly?
way. We are working on that. We are on it.
But so
already.
far you have not, if I get you correctly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move away from that conversation. Let me come back to you, Victor. When we talk about the chambers of students, the student chambers of commerce, and also looking at what you do in general, one will begin to ask, are Nigerian youth at this point really engaging in commercial activities, or they are shying away from that industry based on your research?
Okay, commercialization and businesses at one point or the other is something that the young people are very, very enthusiastic about. If you check your WhatsApp status, you will see somebody selling shoes, selling, selling wig, selling one bag or the other. So it's the technology has actually made these things very well democratized. You understand? And so if with the Student Chamber of Commerce, what we are doing is that there are proper ways to do this, and then you don't have to jettison what you have studied in school to actually pursue an entrepreneurship endeavor. You should be able to build on the discipline and the skills that you have acquired in the 4 walls of the university to actually stimulate entrepreneurship along that line, right? You have been empowered 4 years, 5 years courses. We put them in clusters where mentors come together to talk to them, because the reason why you are in school is actually to make money. So in medicine, in the next 10 years, what will be trending in medicine? So that is how we prepare them. So and we have a lot of our students, some of our students have their businesses of their own, some of them are even outside the country doing one business or the other. So the Student Chamber of Commerce, of course, we have been existing for the past 10 years, and then we've recorded a lot of success.
Victor, let me come to, because I'm being signaled our time is fast spent already. Let me come to you, Susan. If a 20-year-old child or a 20-year-old adult, Nigerian student, or a young person out there in commercial activities is watching you tonight. Now, because I'm asking this because a lot of young people, based on research, have said that they've given up on Nigeria, that they don't believe that the country will work. You belong to the redemption movement, that the country will work in terms of governance, good governance. That's what you represent. But a lot of people have given up on the country. Now, if a young person is watching you, you're person asking, Susan, why should I still believe Nigeria can work in my generation? What would your answer be?
Well, we can make it work. We the youth can make it work. When one youth is being impacted and shown the way, it can create room for youth, other people that we actually want to be where they are today. So they shouldn't give up on Nigeria. Nigeria is moving to a great height by the grace of God.
So currently,
so we can make that
So currently,
happen.
there are no blueprints from your end. If a person is watching you right now and ask, why should I still believe in Nigeria? There are no blueprints even to redeem this person, to give this person an assurance that Nigeria can still work. There are no blueprints.
Like I say, it can still work. We can make it work.
But no blueprints.
No.
All right. Let's take that conversation to you, Victor. You've always spoken positively about Nigeria. Young people are watching us across the world, even as they celebrate the International Youth Day. And they're still asking the same question. We've lost hope in the government. We've lost hope in the system. The system has failed us across board. Now, these are all the speculation based on the input of our research. But then, and the young person is saying, let's give them hope right now. Why should they still believe in Nigeria and believe that Nigeria can still work in their generation?
So we always tell young people across the world, across Nigeria, that see, we have been through wars. Imagine you were living in the colonial era. Imagine you were living under military rule, right? So that means that democracy, I will always say this, democracy is an opportunity for you to contribute your quota to nation development. As you are seated here, you could be the chairman of your local government tomorrow. That is democracy. It's not a monarchical system where a family is condemned to always be the leader. That is democracy. Democracy gives everybody from 18 years to participate, contribute by action. How many people have voters card? How many people go out to vote? If you are not seeing yourself as an active youth, you are part of the people destroying the country. I even say that you are worse than an idiot, or you are not a patriotic person, of course, if you don't have a voters card, and you are not planning to participate in the democratic process. Nigeria has a space for over 2 million leaders across Nigeria. Are you preparing to be one of them? And that's what I tell people. Tomorrow, if I give you leadership, what would you do with it?
Well, so invariably,
Prepare for
you're
leadership.
also saying, at this point, there's no practical demonstration to why a young Nigerian should believe in the cause of Nigeria.
I just said it.
Well,
we are in a democracy.
You're talking about
democracy is the biggest platform.
So you're talking about
across
democracy.
the
There's
world.
no practical.
That's
structures.
practical. Democracy is practical. Whatever we are doing is to conscientize and stimulate the student to be a patriotic citizen of this country and be able to contribute. And we have testimonies.
We're talking about people that have lost hope in the country.
That is what I'm telling
So
you.
they should rather participate in democracy.
Yes, that is your lifeline.
Not giving up hope.
That's what
They
I'm
should
saying.
participate
That's
in
what I'm saying. That it
democracy.
could have been worse. You were not born in the time of slave trade. You were not born when there was war. This country is yours to develop. Let me tell you a statistic, sir. When Nigeria gained independence, we had just 1,500 graduates. There were people that were 26 that were permanent secretaries of ministries. We had only just 2 universities when Nigeria gained independence few years ago. Now, how many graduates do we have? What development are they making? And that's why we are passionate about education. That if you don't change the education system and they don't change what these students hear, this country will not change. Most of our leaders were SUG leaders. Yes, so we have to be deliberate in building this country. Many of my family relatives are in the UK. I've traveled there, but Nigerian building is a mission.
Victor, let me come back to Susan. Susan,
Yeah.
our time is fast spent.
Okay.
A lot of Nigerian youth, we want to hear your final take and your final words before we call it a day. Please, over to you at this point. What would you want to tell Nigerian youths?
All right. My take up from everything I've said is we should not give hope. We should not give our hope in Nigeria. And we should still try to strive to make Nigeria better.
Of course, definitely.
We can make Nigeria
We are going to
great.
make Nigeria.
We are the ones, we the youths are the ones that can make the country be alive again. And no other person, but we ourselves.
Well, Victor, the floor is open for you to advise Nigerian youth right that are watching
Yes,
across the
it's
world.
the same thing. Whatever that your hands finds to do, know that you are part of something very big, right? Today in Nigeria, we have young people coming into government, young people leading companies. I was listening to the interview of Paystack. This guy is less than 30. Okay, and Yabo Eji has 3 unicorns, 3 companies that has done $1 billion in this country. Paystack is there, CC Hub is there. You know, amazing things, Flutter Waves. So you are one of those people that are making this country great. Does not have to wait. They are like you. So sit down, quit doing drugs, quit wasting your time, and build from where you are. Your local government is waiting. Your ward level is waiting. Participate. Be there. Be active. Be an active citizen.
Well,
Thank
Victor,
you.
some of the names that you've mentioned, I'm sure that at the end of the show, we'll give you a voucher because it's a free advert for those organizations.
They are patriots, and we are celebrating them today.
Keep celebrating
Today's
them.
international.
Rapid TV will give you a
Today
voucher.
is International
Rapid
Youth
TV will
Day,
definitely give you a
and we
voucher
own today.
At the end of
We are paid.
this conversation.
We are
Well,
paid. The
well,
youths are
it's on
paid.
this note I want to say thank you so much,
Thank you so
Susan.
much.
Susan Ogechukwu Ohiabo for finding out time to be with us here on Korero.
Thank you so much. It's
And
a
thank you
pleasure.
so much, Victor Adetolaju, Chairman, Student Chambers of Commerce, for finding out time to be with us here on
Thank you
Korero.
so much.
And viewer, this is how far we can go tonight on the show. Do not forget that you can leave your thoughts, you can leave your comments on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the Rapid TV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Bye for now.